live with less anxiety through this ancient Taoist teaching. Have you ever noticed how even when everything seems to be in place, work, relationships, your routine, anxiety is still there, like a subtle whisper? Maybe it's that slight tension in your chest, that short, imperceptible breath, or the feeling that something needs to be done, even when there's nothing truly urgent. Today you'll discover an ancient path that teaches exactly the opposite of what the modern world preaches. Over the next few minutes, we'll explore three powerful revelations: the hidden root of anxiety, according to Taoist masters, that almost no one talks about; the principle of Wu Wei, why acting with less effort, in harmony with the flow of life, creates more impact and lightness; and a simple yet transformative practice to live this teaching in your everyday life, even in the most chaotic situations. By the end of this video, you won't just understand the concept of Wu Wei, you'll feel your body and mind entering the flow without needing to force anything. Welcome to Axiom Sage, and timeless wisdom from the East to transform your mind and spirit. Before we begin, a simple yet profound invitation. Close your eyes for a moment. Take a conscious breath in. Exhale slowly. Let the outside world slow down along with your breath. You are not here by chance. Something within you longs to quiet the noise, to rediscover harmony, to release the invisible weight time has placed on you. Today, what we'll share is not a theory. It's a way of living, a wisdom that has crossed centuries, not because it's poetic, but because it works. So now, take one more deep breath, because the insight you're about to receive may change the way you view anxiety forever. What causes suffering is not what's happening. It's the attempt to control what is already in motion. This is the foundation of the Tao, and at the heart of Taoism lies a principle called Wu Wei. Literally, non-effort. But the meaning goes beyond the translation. It's the wisdom of knowing when to act and when to pause, when to intervene and when to simply allow. Now imagine water flowing freely, weaving around rocks, adapting to the riverbed with complete fluidity. No resistance, no rigidity, but also no passivity. That's Wu Wei. It's not inaction, it's action without friction. It's moving with the world and not against it. In the heart of the Tao Te Ching, the sacred book of Taoism, there are verses that defy our Western logic. Water overcomes stone through softness. What is flexible overcomes what is rigid. Tao Te Ching, chapter 78. Laozi, the Taoist sage who lived around the 6th century BC, taught that the wise do not fight time. They listen, they feel, and they act when the moment is ripe, not before. In practice, this means acting without anxiety, without the kind of effort that's born of comparison, urgency, or fear. Now pause for a moment and reflect with me. How many decisions have you made recently out of pressure, not clarity? How many times did you say yes impulsively when you wanted to say no? How many tasks have you taken on because of fear of falling behind? Anxiety often comes from trying to control the uncontrollable. Wu Wei shows us another way, a way that doesn't eliminate action, but aligns it with what is already naturally unfolding. But there's something almost no one says about Wu Wei. This practice may seem gentle, but it demands a rare inner strength, the courage to trust in life's rhythm, to trust the pause, to trust that not acting is sometimes the wisest move. In the world we live in, where productivity has become an identity, trusting in non-effort can seem like weakness. But it's precisely this apparent weakness that reveals true strength. I myself took a long time to understand this. There was a time when everything in my life revolved around goals. It was as if every second not being productive was a failure. I devoured books, made endless lists, pushed productivity even during rest, and paradoxically, I felt exhausted until on an ordinary afternoon, something trivial taught me more than all those books. I was trying to write a script like this one, hours staring at the screen, forcing words, trying to be deep, creative, relevant. And the more I tried, the less it flowed. So I closed the laptop, went out for a silent walk. I watched trees sway gently, felt my breath slowing down, heard the distant sound of a bird, and there, thinking about nothing, a phrase emerged. Depth doesn't come from effort, it comes from presence. I returned home and wrote everything in 15 minutes. Not because I tried harder, but because I let go of effort. That's Wu Wei in practice. It's not about doing less. It's about doing at the right time, in the right state. If something inside you feels quieter by now, if these words stirred an old memory of how life can be light even in chaos, I invite you to subscribe to Axiom Sage, not for more content, but for less noise. Here, we don't talk about formulas. We speak of ancient wisdom that has endured because it still makes sense. Click subscribe and continue with us, because what's coming next goes even deeper. Now imagine for a moment that your life is a river, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent, but always moving. Now think about how much of your energy goes into trying to hold that flow back, forcing it in the direction you think it should go. What if, instead of trying to change the river's rhythm, you learn to swim with it? That is the living principle of Wu Wei. It doesn't mean you become passive. On the contrary, you become more effective, more creative, more intuitive, because you stop fighting life and begin to dance with it. Let's now bring this into practical focus. How does Wu Wei apply to your life, your routine? Let's begin with work, one of the most common sources of anxiety today. Corporate rhythm glorifies acceleration. Produce more, earn more, be available always, and you try to keep up, but something inside starts to wither. In the Tao Te Ching, we find a gentle challenge. Act without expectation, achieve without forcing, flow with the rhythm of heaven. Chapter 9. In practice, this means you still work, you still accomplish, but from a different posture. You begin to observe the right moment to act, clarity about what truly matters, and most importantly, you learn to let go of what isn't yours to control. But here's something few people realize. Anxiety isn't caused just by what you need to do. It's amplified by how you think about what you need to do. It's not the to-do list that exhausts you. It's the mind that insists on controlling the outcome of every item on that list. Wu Wei teaches us to live in the process, not in obsession with the result. Now think, when was the last time you did something ordinary with total presence? Not rushed, not thinking about what's next, just present. This is one of the greatest secrets of Wu Wei. Right action does not come from a racing mind. It comes from a body that listens to the moment. Laozi neuroscience calls this flow state. You enter flow when there's a fusion between attention, intention, and engagement. No visible effort, no internal friction. Studies show that during flow, the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain tied to self-criticism and overthinking, quiets down, and in its place arise creativity, ease, and clarity. In other words, acting without anxiety is not only possible, it's more effective. This awareness transforms your day-to-day. Let's bring it into some practical examples at work. Before starting a task, take 3 breaths, arrive fully. During the task, keep your attention on now, not on what's missing. When done, let go of the result. Let life take care of the rest. In relationships, practice silence before responding. Listen with your heart, not with the urge to be right. Offer your presence, not your performance. For your emotional health, reserve 10 minutes daily to do nothing. Yes, no goal, no agenda, no podcasts. Just be with yourself. This space of nothing is where everything essential blooms. Let me share something personal. For a long time, I felt guilty when I wasn't producing. Even when meditating, I wanted results. Even when resting, I criticized myself for being unproductive. It created a subtle tension, as if I was always behind on something. Until one day, at a silent retreat, a monk said something simple. You don't need to earn the now. The now already belongs to you. That phrase undid me. Right there, I understood what Wu Wei truly means. You don't have to earn peace. It's already here. What we need is to stop resisting it. Now that you've understood the essence of Wu Wei, now that you've seen how it works in your body, your mind, your day-to-day, we are ready to go deeper, because Wu Wei is not just a beautiful idea, it's a way of being. And if you stay with me, we'll move through even deeper layers, where the Tao meets your soul and silence becomes healing. Now just allow yourself to listen, without judgment, without interpretation. Just listen. The rustling of the leaves, the rhythm of the wind, the sound of your own body breathing, that is also Wu Wei. Because there comes a moment when the Tao invites us to stop acting and begin to listen to the world, to listen to the body, to listen to the right timing. This is the second hidden treasure of Wu Wei. The wisdom of acting only when life's rhythm says yes. Imagine trying to force a flower to bloom. You might tear its petals. You might destroy what is still forming. But if you wait, if you observe, the flower opens in its own time, and it's perfect. Anxiety is born from the urge to bloom without honoring the natural rhythm. And Wu Wei is that invitation to cultivate action in sync with the rhythm of existence. Now, you might be asking, how do I listen to that rhythm? How do I know the right time to act? The answer is in silence. It's in the pause. It's in that moment when you stop trying to think life and begin to feel life. It sounds simple, but it takes courage. The courage to step out of autopilot. The courage to not rush just because everyone else is running. The courage to trust what is born from stillness. But here's something many resist. Listening to life's rhythm might mean waiting, and waiting requires humility because the ego hates not being in control. Wu Wei teaches that pausing is not the absence of action. It's part of the movement. It's the exact moment before the arrow is released, the breath between the inhale and exhale, the silence between two words. And in that silence, wisdom arrives. I remember a pivotal moment. I was offered a job opportunity, promising, great pay, recognition. But something in me hesitated. It wasn't fear, it wasn't doubt, it was subtler, as if my body whispered, not yet. I waited 2 days, silence, meditation, long walks. On the third day, it became clear. It would pull me away from my purpose. It was surface-level success, with guaranteed inner imbalance. I declined, 2 weeks later, a new opportunity appeared. Smaller on paper, but greater for the soul. The difference? I listened for the right time. In Taoist tradition, they say the river doesn't ask when to turn. It simply turns, because the rocks show the way. In your life, those rocks are signs. The body that tenses when you push too hard. The mind that quiets when something's not aligned. The synchronicities that repeat themselves. Listening is an act of deep intelligence. It's trusting that the universe isn't deaf to your call, but maybe it's waiting for you to speak less and listen more. Now take a deep breath and ask in silence, what is life trying to show me that I haven't yet seen? Don't wait for an immediate answer, but feel. That question is like a seed. It sprouts in the pause. Science is beginning to understand the power of active silence. MIT studies show that pauses during creative processes allow neural reorganization, as if the brain in rest realigns with more precision. Other studies in contemplative psychology reveal that the not knowing time between doubt and decision is more emotionally decisive than the choice itself. At its core, Wu Wei is that not knowing time. It's making room for true knowing to arrive by itself. Zen monks do this constantly. They walk slowly, not because they lack things to do, but because they're not in a hurry to live. They listen to the moment and act when action arises from silence. And you? Have you been listening to life or trying to shout louder than it? Maybe your greatest relief lies in what you haven't done yet. Maybe your truest step is to take no step right now. Just listen. And here is where the second treasure of Wu Wei is revealed. Action doesn't begin with effort. It begins with listening. Lightness doesn't come from doing. It comes from sensing the right time. And that you're already beginning to experience. Perhaps the most underrated Taoist teaching is this: rest is also action. In today's world where productivity is mistaken for personal worth, resting has become synonymous with weakness, laziness, moral failure. But the Tao doesn't see it that way. The Tao sees rest as part of movement. It's the space that allows the melody to continue. Nature does this all the time. Tides don't rise endlessly. Seasons don't last all year. The day doesn't stretch into infinity. So, why do you insist on functioning without pause? Why ignore the sacredness of exhaustion? Maybe you're tired. Maybe you've been waking up with anxiety, falling asleep with guilt, running all day feeling like you're always behind, and still feel like it's not enough. I understand. I've been there. There was a time when my body was screaming, chest pain, constant insomnia, shortness of breath out of nowhere. But I kept telling myself, it's just a phase. Until one day I stopped, and not from wisdom, but because I had no choice. My body stopped before I did. And there, lying down still, I learned. Rest is not the opposite of action. It's the foundation of all clear action. But here's something few dare to say. You have the right to rest, even if you're not exhausted. You don't need to wait for collapse. You don't need to justify your fatigue with a to-do list. You can and must rest as a practice of clarity, as resistance to the sick logic of constant performance. Zen masters go to bed early. They rise with the sun. They pause between tasks, not from lack of responsibility, but from a deep sense of presence. They understand that tiredness is not weakness, it's a sign, and signs must be listened to. The calm mind is like still water. It reflects everything with clarity. Resting is not stopping life. It's allowing life to reach us. It's as if Wu Wei whispers, if you stop, everything you chase may finally find you. Studies show that conscious idleness activates brain areas tied to creativity, problem solving, and emotional balance. More than that, deep rest, through meditation or intentional silence, lowers cortisol, regulates blood pressure, and boosts immunity. But here's the detail. Resting is not just not doing, it's being with what is. It's placing the mind in the now, relaxing the shoulders, softening the gaze, breathing with intention. Have you ever allowed yourself to lie down on the ground and just exist? No phone, no input, no agenda, just you, your body, and the space around you? That kind of rest is revolutionary because it restores your wholeness. Let's practice right now. Close your eyes if you can. Relax your jaw, soften your shoulders. Inhale and exhale slowly. Feel your body touching the chair, the floor, or the bed. Now say inwardly, I allow myself to pause. And again, I allow myself to pause. This might be the deepest point of the entire experience. You don't have to do more to be worth more. You don't have to constantly prove yourself. You are worthy of rest simply because you are. And here is the most transformative insight from this Taoist teaching. It's not action that heals. It's the space between actions. It's not effort that saves. It's trusting in rest. Anxiety doesn't scream when you act. It screams when you never stop. Life has a rhythm, and that rhythm includes silence. It includes emptiness. It includes you. No rush, no pressure, no guilt, only presence. Now that you've felt, in multiple layers, what it means to act without effort, listen to life's natural rhythm, and rest as a practice of wisdom, we've arrived at the most special part of this experience, integration, because it's not enough to know each principle separately. True transformation happens when these teachings breathe together within you. Imagine your life as a dance. Wu Wei is not the choreography. It's the rhythm that carries you with grace. You act, yes, but not with violence against your own body. You speak, yes, but with silence inside. You seek, yes, but without anxiety. That's how the three treasures come alive together. 1. Flowing action. 2. Listening to the invisible. 3. Rest as restoration. They form a living mandala inside you. In practice, Wu Wei invites you to stop resisting and begin to breathe with life instead of against it. Shall we practice this now? Find a comfortable position. Close your eyes if you haven't already. Keep your spine upright but relaxed. Let your hands rest gently on your legs or at your sides. Take a deep breath, hold it for a moment, and exhale softly. Let's move together through the three treasures. First treasure, effortless action. Visualize a river. Watch how the water flows around the rocks without resistance. Now imagine yourself acting like that in your life, with direction but without hardness. Say silently to yourself, I act without forcing. Breathe. Feel your body absorbing that intention. Second treasure, listening to the rhythm of life. Now imagine the wind blowing through the trees. It doesn't announce its arrival, it simply comes. Turn your attention inward. Feel the subtle signals of the present moment. Say, I listen to the rhythm that guides me. Breathe. Feel the vibration of that silence within you. Third treasure, conscious rest. Visualize yourself lying beneath a night sky. The stars are there, but you don't need to reach them. Just rest. Let your body release a little more. The weight of your hands, your feet, your shoulders. Say, I allow myself to rest. Take one more deep breath. Stay in this state for a few moments. This practice may seem simple, but within it lies a deep secret. Wu Wei is not about doing more. It's about being whole in every step. You didn't just hear words, you lived principles. You didn't just learn ideas, you reconnected with something ancestral, something that may have always lived within you, but had been asleep under the weight of the modern world, and now has awakened. Whatever stage of life you're in, whatever challenge you're facing right now, carry this truth with you. You don't need to conquer life. You only need to move in harmony with it. And if you've made it this far, I want to tell you, you are already practicing Wu Wei because you chose to stop, to listen, to breathe. That is courage. That is awakening. If this experience touched something deep inside you, and if you wish to continue walking this path of transformation, subscribe here to Axiom Sage, not because of algorithms, but because this is our sacred space for stillness, contemplation, and wisdom. We are a quiet but powerful community, people like you, who feel, who seek, who transform. Click subscribe and return whenever you want to remember who you are beyond the rush. Today you walk with me through the paths of the Tao. You touch the three treasures of Wu Wei: effortless flow, listening to the invisible, rest that heals. May these truths accompany you on hard days, on tired days, on days when everything feels like too much. I leave you with this mantra to carry with you. I act with ease. I listen with clarity. I rest with trust. Repeat it whenever anxiety visits you, whenever you forget your serene nature. Deep gratitude for walking with me this far. This wasn't just another lesson, it was a reunion. Return whenever you want to breathe deeper, feel lighter, live more present. Life can be softer, and you can trust the flow. Until the next video, here on Axiom Sage, timeless wisdom from the East to transform your mind and spirit.